Right, this is a side-by-side between the vehicles. So this is a Kraton 8S, which is a 1:5 scale. This is the Losi monster truck, LMT. Now, this is the roller. This is also a roller, so there's still electronics missing. So these are brand new. They're future builds. I have to finish those up. This is a Revo. I started cleaning it, so I actually took the engine off just before this, and I thought, wait, why don't I just do a comparison first? And this is the T Maxx. Now, I'll be honest, out of the Traxxas Nitros, T Maxx is my favorite by far for a variety of reasons. But these are just side by side. Now, these are Nitro, these two are to be electric. You're supposed to put an electric motor in there. But again, they're not complete. But this is really just so you can see the size difference between them if you were planning on buying them. Now, I'm also going to give a little more detail about them, about what my opinions are. But you can see, going from this 5 scale to this 8 scale, there is a massive difference between the vehicles. So, if we were to grab this one, put it really close up, that's the size difference. So, there is quite a difference. Also, they're made for two completely different things. This one's just made for having fun. You really can't really do anything other than just kind of have fun, go in straight lines. If you take turns, it's going to want to tip over. Not really made for jumping. This one can take a beating. That's one of the differences. So if we look at the suspensions, yes, the differentials, they're somewhat nice. These big, bulky plastic things. They're fixed. It does have little sway bars front and rear, but okay, I understand there's no electronics. The suspension doesn't really do anything, so it's not really made for jumping. If I grab this, the tires are really what's going to soak everything up. It just bounces. That's because, again, suspension doesn't really do anything. This is made just for show. So again, just bounces. So the top is actually quite light. Once you put the electronics, you'll add some weight to it. But this is really just made for you to, so it just comes up really easy. So when you accelerate, this is just made to put on a show. So the body will just kind of rock forward and back when you accelerate, brake. That's really what it's made for. It's not really made for, say, honest, hard bashing. It's, like I said, it's more of a show truck to have fun. Versus this one, I mean, I can lift it, say, up to here. Now, you can't really see, but this is waist. The bottom of the chassis is up to my waist. Well, camera didn't really get much of it. Pretty nice. Now, that was about 1 meter in height. So over 3 feet. And still able to drop that. Now, this one here, well, Revo, some people really do love them. I enjoy it. I mean, it's fun. Not really a monster truck. Ouch. Okay, that slapped. And that was less height than the Kraton. So obviously, you have to see what you're planning on getting the vehicle for. One of the things that made, say, this vehicle so great was the handling. Not really a monster truck. Now, look at the suspension, right? In order to make it handle, you almost have to level everything. Versus lifting it all the way, moving these rods in to give it more height. If you actually lift it like a regular monster truck, it no longer handles as great. You might as well get a T Maxx. Plus, T Maxx look cooler. I mean, they have their advantages and disadvantages. The original T Maxx, the bulkheads, those 2 plates, those gray plates on the side, those used to brake left and right. The RPMs are pretty nice. But this one, okay, one thing, I do like that bar. Because then I can just stick my hand here and lift it. But anyway, well, here goes. Okay, the body's actually what's making the noise. But the T Maxx absorbed it, and that was slightly higher than where I dropped the Revo. So if you're bashing, jumping, that's probably the better choice, and it does have the stock shocks and springs. This one, man, I think I went with purple in the back. Yeah, purple in the back and blue in the front. And pretty heavy oil, 55, 60 weight. So that's something to consider. Revos, again, there is a cult following. A lot of people love them. I don't. I would probably steer you into getting a T Maxx, or it depends on your budget. If your budget is over $1,000, just get a kit and then build one. You can, and buy a kit, get, for example, a what am I thinking? Not a truggy. Yeah, truggy. And then turn into a monster truck, something like that. So you can get a, for example, an NT48 2.0. That's a Techno. Just turn it into a monster truck. So you're taking a race kit, turning it into a monster truck. Now, the Kraton 6S, or the smaller one, the 1/8 scale, is actually pretty nice too. So if you want to go electric, that's something I would go with. Electric Revo, again, there's a cult following. A lot of people love them. I dislike a few features, such as, you know, battery slots in there. I think it needs to be updated. I really don't like the suspension. I really don't. Some people love it. I don't know why. And the reason why, comparing them, is, well, you know what? Maybe I'll do a video. It's sort of just, it does harden, but eventually it just kind of goes. So tuning, somewhat of a pain, and as of now, it gets really hard there. So it sort of just kind of drops and gets really hard right about there because of the compression. Plus, I think the shocks are too small. If it had larger shocks, similar to what the Arrma Nero used to have, that would have been probably a lot better, easier to tune. But you're very limited because these shocks are so small. And I mean, just look at the mechanical difference between the lever here, the distance from here compared to that. I mean, it's just trouble. But anyway, still fun, still run it. Don't really jump it. Some people will jump it really high. The only thing is you're going to be hitting the bottom. Again, T Maxx, but let's keep doing side by side. So again, this one, it's just a show truck. If you love them, you want to get a cool monster truck body, something that looks like a monster truck, sort of moves like a monster truck, go for it. That's the one you want. You want high jumps, that's the one you want. A lot more expensive. I don't remember how much that one was. That one's my personal one. I'm still waiting on some parts so I can finish it off. All right. All right, that's the side by side. That's the bottom. Now, keep in mind that the tires are going to make a big difference too, and that's something to keep in mind. So if you look at the size difference between the sidewalls, I mean, my nail is more than 2 centimeters across. So that'll give you an idea versus this one. Even if I just put them next to each other, let's just do that and see the difference between the two. So the wheels and tires are also going to help absorb, but something you can do is just get the Prolines. So these are the Prolines trenchers. These are really nice. That's actually what I would go with. So go ahead and put the T Maxx right next to it. And that's the size difference. So yeah, this one's large, it's pretty big, but to be honest, it takes a lot of space. Maybe you don't want this. Now, I know I'm talking about the T Maxx. I just love the T Maxx. These are the monster trucks I have right now. The one that you should really be looking at is maybe a Max. So if you want a Traxxas, get a Max. If you want a Traxxas that is big, then, well, get the X Max. Now, the X Max I consider to be a real monster truck versus this one. Sure, we can call it a monster truck, but to be honest, it's more of a truggy. But again, it's up to you. It depends on what you like. I decided to go with this one simply because they handle, they jump well, and it's a roller, so I can pick my electronics. That's the main reason why. The servo that's going in this thing is it's a pretty strong servo. It's made by Spectrum, who actually makes the stock electronics. But I'll have a review of those electronics later on. But again, it's just a side-by-side. I'm not comparing them individually, telling you which one's better, which one's worse. It's just a side-by-side if you're considering. There are a lot of people that sometimes debate between nitro and electric. Get them both. If you can get them both, get them both. Now, the one thing I will say is this one right over here looks really cool. But, again, it's really just a show truck. It's not really made for bashing. Suspension doesn't really work. Maybe if you tune it a lot more. I have not. But the only thing it's really made for is to exaggerate the motions to just look cool. Yes, you can put 4S. I wouldn't do it. I'd probably go 2S. I don't really care for 3S. I mean, 3S might as well go with 4. On these, I guess you could go 3. It just depends on what you have. But again, demonstration, suspension. Doesn't really do much except for bounce off the tires. So here we go. Versus these, they will absorb. Ooh, that's nice. All right, and this one might be too big for where I'm standing. Try not to move the tires. Oh, of course they move. Oh well, let's just drop it. I think I got it. The body's scandalous. It makes so much noise. Ouch. Yeah, this thing bottoms out like you wouldn't believe. But then the problem is, you don't want to overdo these and make them too hard. Then you stress out the suspension. Oh, yeah. This is the other thing I hate about them. See that bent rod? I lost count. I don't know how many of these I've bent or broken. So that's a downer. Well, I hope this video is useful, or at least informative. Please share the video, like, subscribe, comment below. What are your preferences? What do you think of the difference in sizes? Again, not really made to compare which is best. It's just to give you an overall general idea and to see maybe what you should consider for one of these. Again, thank you very much. I'll catch you in the next one.
Oh, my hair! My arm! My rod!